How much do you really pay for a week vacation in Cancun, Mexico? Hey, welcome back to InfoTek Travel Vlog. Today we're going to talk about winter vacation in tropical places, specifically Cancun, Mexico, since this is one of the most common destinations for Americans and Canadians. The agenda of this video is to give you a total price of staying in all-inclusive resort in Cancun, Mexico for a week. Actually, it's going to be 7 nights, which means 8 days, because you'll spend first and last day on the road, which makes your vacation shorter. Most people pay attention to the all-inclusive price when they book the vacation, what they see on the screen, on the website, forgetting that they will spend more money on transportation, from airport taxis, from the airport to the airport, fees, excursions, tips, spontaneous purchases, and so on. I'll show you how much you'll spend in addition to your all-inclusive price, so you would know what to expect and plan your trip expenses accordingly. Also, I will show you the Royalton Riviera Hideaway Resort and some other parts of this resort, because it's one huge place that is actually divided in sections. But based on your access, you can walk through all these sections back and forth. Before going to Cancun this time, I've been watching many videos about Cancun resorts, what people liked and what they didn't, trying to pick the best value for the money. What people recommend and what pros and cons to stay in a specific resort, we will discuss in this video: prices, entertainment, food, etc. I understood one thing from my research. Absolutely every resort had positive and negative reviews. That was a very funny thing about it, because even resorts that were $4,000 per person per week, they still had negative reviews, and actually a lot of them. Why? It's simple. The more people pay for their vacation, the more they expect from this place. And all it takes for them to give you a negative review is a short delay in service or a hair they notice on the plate at the restaurant. It's enough to kill their mood. And remember, people are more inclined to leave negative review than positive. All right, when everything is fine and going according to your plan, you would not even notice it. You take it for granted. But when something goes wrong, this is where you actually leave negative review for the place. So do not believe in the fact that if you pay more for a resort, you will get better quality service, or it would be cleaner, or people are more friendly. Because, you are in Mexico, so there is only so much they can do. They have local people work in all of these resorts. Entertainment goes from one resort to another, so it's basically the same thing in each and every place. And they don't have that many well-trained local personnel or people who speak English well in Mexico. So pretty much, whether it's more expensive or less expensive resort, you will have very similar experience, very similar treatment and service. There will be pros and cons in every resort, regardless of the price. All right, so how much a week in all-inclusive resort in Cancun is? Let's start with the base price of your all-inclusive deal from US East Coast, for example. I'm flying from Washington, D.C., so make adjustments to your possible distance you need to travel, from the airport to most likely Miami, if you're on East Coast, and from Miami to Cancun, Mexico. Typically, you would want to use this website if you go to places like Jamaica, Cuba, Bahamas, any Caribbean islands, Mexico, etc. And the website is called cheapcaribbean.com. So depending on where you are in the United States or Canada, please make adjustments to the flight ticket price. And of course, ticket price will be affected by how many luggage bags you are traveling with, what kind of seats you want on the plane, what kind of time you want to fly in and out, because some people prefer earlier time in the middle of the day. Some people can adjust to a nighttime travel, right, which will be less, of course, but You've got to sacrifice your sleep. So basically, in the middle of January 2026, you can see it on the screen, the base price for all-inclusive 5-star resort. It was Royalton Riviera Resort in Cancun, Mexico. It was around 1.5K per person per 7 nights. And although on the website it says price includes all taxes and fees, it's not entirely true. That's the first catch. I'll explain how it works in a second. When you book a trip, website shows you the base price. Then you get to choose the room, and it may be extra when you pick a view from your window or size of the bed or VIP package, butler, special accommodations, bus shuttle to and from airport, and so on. Also, what the website does not tell you is that Mexican resorts have their own local taxes that they charge you upon arrival. Okay, so it's not going to be a part of your all-inclusive package. Keep it in mind. So be ready for that. Now, let's do the breakdown of the prices and possible expenses for you. Here's what to expect. Again, your base price for a week in Cancun is $1,500. On top of that, you'll need to reserve a bus shuttle from and to airport. Please do it at the time of booking, because the taxi price at your destination airport is going to be brutal. They can easily charge you $100 or more, even though it's 10 miles drive. A lot of people complained in other videos about that. Make shuttle arrangements at the time of booking and take screenshots, so when you come to Mexico and you don't have Wi-Fi, for example, you have it somewhere on your cell phone stored. Shuttle is going to be around $40 to $45. So it's way better, because taxi prices are absolutely crazy, and they know there is nowhere to go for you, all right? You're trapped, and you would pay any money to get to your hotel. Plus, you don't know where to go, basically, once you arrive. So bus will cover that 40 or 45 bucks that you pay at the time of booking. It will cover your bus trip from airport to the hotel, and then on your way back from the resort to the airport when you return home. Now, after you pay for shuttle bus, your price is $1,545, as you can see on the screen. And the resort in Mexico will charge you local taxes, which is about 50 bucks. It's not that bad, but now your price is $1,605. If you travel with a checked-in bag, JetBlue or Delta or other airline will charge you another $50 each way for each bag. So I had only one. I add another 100, 2 times travel back and forth to your total price, and now your price is $1,705. You see how fast your actual price growing now? And I'm not going to throw money at just anything. Let's not review cases where you just buy everything you see and you just throw money at them, all right? We will include only and absolutely necessary expenses when you're on vacation, only expenses that actually make sense. Okay, let's get back to our travel. Please do not forget, you need to pay for your Uber when you get to the airport from your house, and basically on your way back from airport to your home. I paid $30 each way. I'm only 10 miles away from the airport, and I add now 60 bucks to my total expense. So you can see on the screen, total expense is now $1,765. As soon as you arrive to the resort, they will assign a bellboy that will help you with the luggage. Do not try to fight it. This is how it works in all resorts. They get irritated if you try to avoid this help with your luggage. And pay, tip is not that big, to fight it. And you actually need help when you arrive at the resort, since this local personnel will show you how to get to your building or room or elevators, how to operate appliances, air conditioner, balcony doors, etc. I typically give the bellboy $5 when we are in our room. Your price now is $1,770. Let's take a look at the resort itself. Here's a bit about the Royalton Riviera Resort. As I mentioned, it's a 5-star hotel, meaning it's as good as it gets in Mexico. You can't get anything better, right? More expensive, yes, but 5-star is top. And online, I saw a lot of complaints about cleanliness and service at any resort, including Royalton. And try to understand one thing. Every resort in Mexico will have these complaints. Regardless of the price of the resort, there will be some local Mexican personnel who do not speak English well, or at all, who are a certain way. They simply do not have that many people who are trained well in the customer service and who speak English well in Mexico. These resorts in Cancun are huge, and they need hundreds and hundreds of workers in each and every place. Personnel in tropical places is always slow. They're not accustomed to be in a hurry. That's how they live. They are slow. So people from Los Angeles or New York or Washington, D.C. will be annoyed as hell of how slow these people move and work. But try to set your mind to be positive, and it will attract positive experiences. Whoever is setting their mind on negativity will basically see negativity in each and every situation, in each and every person. All right. So when you go on vacation, relax your mind, slow down, and don't expect too much. This is not gonna be Western world. It's not gonna be London or New York or Boston. I noticed that that was the main source of complaint from customers when they go to Caribbean islands or Mexico, Colombia, or Costa Rica. They complain that it's not fast-paced, that waitresses are not moving fast enough, or they seem to disregard your requests. You've got to understand one thing, like very often, 90% of times, they actually don't even understand what you're saying. They nod with their head, trying to create an impression that they get you, but then they bring a wrong order just because they didn't fully understand. They caught just keywords, right? For example, you say, bring me a cappuccino and I want it in to-go cup. All they heard was cappuccino. So they bring you a cappuccino in a regular cup and then you send them back. So they redo it. It can feel like a disaster, but you've got to adapt to that. All right, do not expect much from these people. All right, take it easy on them and you will have more positive experience on your vacation. Now, let's address this cleanliness and service complaints at Royal Riviera Resort as well as any other luxury resort in Mexico. Even if there were issues with cleanliness at Royalton, it was addressed earlier, apparently. They did renovations pretty recently, and resort now is extremely clean. You will see here on pictures and on videos that the cleaning personnel works 24/7. You literally see them everywhere working nonstop. Absolutely everything is spotless now, and you can see on video that they literally wash pavements every single day. They even remove rainwater from pedestrian walk paths. All right, just to try to make it smoother and cleaner for you, because you walk bare feet or in flip-flops. So now it's all freshly painted. Stone and granite is perfectly clean, and you can walk barefoot everywhere. Also, in one or two videos about Royalton Riviera Resort, I found complaints about cockroaches. Well, typically customers would show just one of these roaches they found somewhere behind closed door or on the balcony. And I've got to tell you that there are no cockroaches at present. However, I saw a beetle that looks very similar to a roach on the beach. They are kind of big and scary, but apparently these are beetles that live in this area. They are not very common, but still you can see them at times on the sand. I actually saw only one or two times, so it's not very common. But I'm very sure that what they show on these videos are these beetles, because they typically show one and it's dead inside the room. So it's definitely not an issue, but make sure you carry a mosquito spray with you all the time. You will get bitten by mosquitoes in most restaurants if they have open patio, and sometimes even inside all-you-can-eat buffet, since they have huge doors and these doors automatically open and close every single second. So mosquitoes naturally inside, and they bite your legs while you are eating. Spray yourself at least your legs before you go to eat or you are out in the wild. I saw a couple of Canadian ladies, and they were coming home back to Canada, having irritation and allergy from these mosquito bites, and it was brutal. So it basically ruined their whole experience. Okie dokie, entertainment is awesome, but again, these entertainers and dancers and music bands travel from one resort to another, so regardless of which resort you're at, you will see pretty much same entertainment program. It was good. It did not degrade much since past 10 or 15 years. What I noticed degraded was quality of food, and I mean variety. Variety is not there anymore. Even 10 or 12 years ago, it was more variety, and even though you eat steak, ribeye steak, or like lobster, you would not pay extra in the past. Now, all-inclusive restaurants do not include lobster and ribeye steak on most places. You will have to pay extra, and it's like $50 for, I believe, for lobster, and like 65 or even more for ribeye steak. Not everywhere, not each restaurant, but some restaurants have a special pricing for extras that you want to add to your dining experience. Be ready for that, or just don't order anything that costs extra. So entertainment is cool, pretty energetic. They have rock music bands, pop music bands, jazz, anything you want, like Latino type of dancing parties, white parties, DJs, etc. And by the way, you will be expected to leave tips, sometimes to entertainers or maybe servers, especially when you are at dinner. So breakfast and lunches, I've never seen people really leaving anything, even $1, but dinners are made by reservation, and you have an assigned waiter, and they expect you to give them from $2 to $5 tip. Royalton Resort in Cancun has more than 12, I think, restaurants, more than 10 for sure, so you can have dinner at different place every single evening. But to reserve dinner, you will have to use a local app on your phone where you manage your reservations when you do booking and peak times and so on. Do it in advance, because if you do it last minute, the times like 7:30 p.m. will not be available. All right, so the earlier you make reservations for each and every evening, you can manage reservations for the entire evening ahead of time, and it will be easier for you to pick better times at each and every place and restaurant. After you download the app you use for restaurant reservations, and that's the only way. That's a little bit tricky for most people, especially if Wi-Fi is not stable in your resort, but you just must reserve through the app. You cannot go to a restaurant and place reservation in person. It's done only through phone application. However, if you're an older person and you're not cell phone savvy or application savvy, you can go to a nearest guest service and ask help to make all the reservations. They would gladly help you. They will not move very quickly, so expect to spend 30 or 40 minutes in there. What is annoying is that Royalton Resort has different sections. It's one huge resort, but it's divided into like family-oriented part with family swimming pools and jacuzzi and hot tubs, and it also has VIP section and adults only called Hideaway. This is where I was. So Hideaway is for adults only. Also, they have this thing called Blue Diamond membership or Dimond Club, which is sort of VIP membership. For this, you will have to pay. It's two of you. It's almost $200 that you need to pay per night on top of your base price. With this Dimond Club membership, you will get some extras, like your own personal butler who makes reservations for you, who would bring you bottles of liquor to your room. You would also have a private pool, semi-private pool, I would say. It's very little, right in front of your balcony. So from the balcony, you can go into your own swimming pool. But I find it extra and absolutely not necessary, because you are surrounded by dozens of swimming pools and hot tubs and jacuzzis that are free, and you don't have to spend another 100 or 200 bucks every night for just having this pool in front of your door. Plus, you have room service 24/7 anyways, and it's free, and that's included in all-inclusive package. So we are not going to include this expense in our total price, but you can see on the screen what this private swimming pool in front of your balcony looks like right now. Good. After all that, you will still spend about 10 bucks in tips every day. So if you have 8 days of vacation, please consider spending another 80 bucks in tips for the whole week. You will tip your bartender, waiter at dining, and or if you want them to bring you drinks to the beach. Now your total price is $1,850. Another almost inevitable expense is coconuts or pineapples that special personnel brings to the swimming pool area or at the beach. They can also fill this coconut or pineapple with rum or tequila at your request, and the price is going to be $12 at the resort for each coconut, or about $7 when you go to one of the excursions. So it's cheaper outside. I would add another 30 bucks to indulge yourself during your week stay in Cancun for these coconuts or pineapples made specifically for you. And now your price is $18.80, as you can see on this page. Next page in your expenses, spontaneous purchases. And it will always take place. At Royalton, they have multiple stores where you can buy beachwear or swimming gear or accessories, etc. We spent another 140 bucks on a shirt and a dress, plus $350 on 2 rings. I'm not going to include rings in the total price because it was not a necessary purchase. But you can add about $100 because you will need to buy something you forgot at home, like flip-flops or swimmers or goggles. After this unexpected expense page, your total price goes to $19.80. Everything else is basically included in your all-inclusive price. And I mean everything in your fridge, plus 24/7 room service, beach towels, coffee shops, food and drinks, especially alcohol that is not fancy. For some fancy alcohol, you will either need to pay extra or purchase this Blue Dimond Club membership, and this fancy alcohol is going to be included in Dimond Club membership. So now even Black Label or a tequila that is 60 bucks or more per bottle is going to be available. Again, I'm not going to include Dimond Club membership because it's really extra. Now let's talk about different sections of Royalton Riviera Resort. It's 3 or 4 sections, and it's tricky and gimmicky how you can move between them depending on your access or VIP access. They give you a specific bracelet that's tied to your hand, and you don't want to lose it. You always need to have it on display. Based on that bracelet, personnel will know what kind of access you have. It's not the best experience in the world because you see, you came to an all-inclusive resort, but it does not feel like everything is included. So it's tricky and gimmicky again. In my opinion, all this division into VIP, Dimond Club, Hideaway part of the resort where only adults are allowed to go and so on, all of this is annoying and gimmicky, as I mentioned before. For example, if you are in this Hideaway part where I was, you can go to family parts and other parts, but this family part resort people, they can't go to Hideaway, to adults only. And if you go to a specific restaurant, one level is open for you, another one is for VIP only. So all that creates tension, creates frustration and annoyance. Some restaurants will not serve you if you don't have specific access or Dimond Club membership. However, at the same time, you can still go to this restaurant or to this level in the evening for dining if you reserve your dinner experience via the app. Alrighty, you'll be surprised, but now we are coming to the main source of expenses when you travel. If you have a week or more at the resort, even the resort is awesome and beautiful, you will be bored after 1 or 2 days sitting at the beach. Plus, Mexico as a country has beautiful sights and a rich history, so you would want to take 2 or 3 tours or excursions, and of course it will cost you extra. Most excursions are between $100 and $150 per person. Some of them are an absolute must to see, such as underground rivers, which have ocean water, and these underground rivers flow inside the mountains, and it's very cool if you like snorkeling. They will give you a mask, flippers to swim faster. In Mexico, they have 10,000 underground rivers, and they are all interconnected. So I'd highly recommend doing it when you are in Cancun. You can snorkel, swim for miles, literally. I've been to underground rivers tour before, so this time I will take an excursion to Isla Mujeres Island. The tour is going to be called Catamaran because they take you to this island on a yacht that looks like catamaran, like double yacht. This excursion includes sailing to the island with semi-private beaches, extremely white sand, extremely beautiful water. Also on the way you will do jumping from the yacht in the water. You would have some service like drinks, sandwiches. You will do a very interesting snorkeling trip, basically from point A to point B, where this yacht is going around to pick you up. You will have multiple lifeguards, of course, safety vests, so nobody drowns. I would recommend to take this particular snorkeling trip only if you swim well, because although they have a couple of lifeguards that swim with you, if you cannot really snorkel or swim, or you've never done it before, you'll be a burden to everybody, to the entire group, and basically to these lifeguards that need to accompany you. They have a lot on their plate. They need to show you what's underwater. They will show you some ruins that are somehow in the water, coral reefs, tons of different types of fishes. They need to watch out for sharks. And then if you can't really swim or snorkel, they also need to pay attention to you, neglecting other people in the group. I personally don't understand how they keep sharks away, because at the beach they have some kind of net or barrier that does not let the predators come closer to the beach. But in these open waters, I really don't understand how sharks are not there, because I've seen so many fishes, like herds of these fishes, of 100, 200 of them hanging around the coral reef together. So for a predator, it's a paradise. Plus you have so many people swimming, unaware, hanging, mingling in the water back and forth. But I've had this experience many times. I've never seen even the smallest shark in these waters. I don't understand how it works, but that's my experience. Even when I was to Jamaica and we went at night to swim in the glowing water, which is like absolutely dark outside, the water is completely black, you don't see anything inside, and everybody was afraid of sharks. So the guide says, well, here in Jamaica we don't have great whites, we only have great blacks. And everybody laughed and went into water. So not sure again how it works, but there were no sharks, and thank God, because people are reckless and do some stupid stuff at times, and they don't understand how dangerous it is in open ocean. This catamaran trip is going to be $140 per person, so your total price is now $2120 per person. Well, another excursion that I would recommend is called Chichen Itza, which is Yucatan part of Mexico, pretty far from Royalton, and it consists of ancient ruins, like pyramids and local Yucatan Indian villages. You will have a tour throughout pyramids and see why Chichen Itza is among 7 wonders of the world. It's beautiful, it's very interesting. Your tour guide is typically super well trained, humorous, and speaks pretty much good English, surprisingly. Also, you will try the local village foods and drinks prepared specifically for you. You will have some expense inside, not all drinks are included, and you are expected to leave a tip. This Chichen Itza trip is around 150 bucks, and please have at least 10 or $20 for tipping. So now, with 2 excursions, your total price is gonna come to $22.90. I can see your total price changed dramatically since the first base price you saw for your all-inclusive trip at cheapcaribbean.com website. But there is a little bit more. So when you check out from the hotel, they will let you know that they charged your credit card $500 as a security deposit. But it will be returned to your credit card upon your checkout, especially if you didn't lose anything, if you didn't have any extra charges put on your room number. And make sure you do not lose key access bracelet. So the bracelet that they put on your hand also works as a key. In case you lose this bracelet, they will charge 150 bucks per bracelet, and they will deduct it from your security deposit. So you see, it's costly to lose your bracelet. So don't do that. Next thing, after you check out, there will be another bellboy that helps you with luggage. So you will need to leave tips to the bellboy and possibly to shuttle driver. It's after you arrive to airport. So you can add 5 or 10 bucks to your expenses. As you can see, your total price for 1 week vacation in Cancun is $2,300. Another point to make here. If you want to bring something valuable or memorable about Mexico and your trip to Cancun, specifically, I would recommend to buy a souvenir, something like a bracelet or statue or necklace made by locals somewhere in the village, for example. If you go to one of these tours in Chichen Itza, at times locals bring souvenirs to your hotel directly, but you will not see much variety, and they would not give you certificates, authenticity certificates. So when you go to Chichen Itza, for example, make sure you buy in one of their stores that are designated and work directly with local families that make these jewels or stone statues. I purchased a beautiful yin and yang mask. This mask is made of precious stones, including obsidian stone, which is very significant for Mexican people. It's black obsidian that turns into gold and sparkles like gold if it senses light or in direct sunlight or even flashlight. Mayan Indians and Yucatan Indians, these tribes are big on making souvenirs out of various stones, and they mix them very well and make very pretty pieces of art. The mask you can see on the screen, I got it for $740. They wanted almost $800. So I negotiated the price down, but it's my preference and absolutely not necessary for most people. At the same time, we bought multiple bracelets made of precious stones, and if you want the stone bracelet that works as a shield from bad eye and from bad energy, it will cost you about 60 bucks, like the one I purchased and you see on the screen. This is something you can bring home. Keep it as a memory about this place in the future. If you buy this bracelet in Chichen Itza place or in local village, they would have local priest that performs some sort of custom to tie this piece of art to you and your family, so it works specifically for you and protects you, and nobody else can touch it. If you add this $60 bracelet to your total trip price, you will have $2,360. And of course, based on your situation, you may have additional expenses. So I would recommend adding around 150 or 200 bucks for the unforeseen situation expense. With this additional $200 expense, your total price for a whole week in Cancun is gonna look like $2,560. $60. Now you can see that with all these additional expenses, the price of your all-inclusive vacation for 1 week almost doubled. Now it's $2,560. This is something you need to take into account. Most people see the base price and disregard these extra expenses and other trips that they will take during the week. They don't understand why their bank accounts shrink that much after they arrived back home. But now you know, and you'll be prepared. That would be it for today. I hope you liked this video tour. That's the best of Cancun, Mexico. And I hope you liked excursions and you liked the resort. In my experience, it made most sense to purchase this one. If you compare quality and price and 5-star rating of this resort, I think 1,500 base price kind of works, you know, and it's not much more than it used to be 10 or 15 years ago. Except now for extras, you have to pay extra. If you find the information on this video helpful and valuable, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. And I'll see you in the next video. But until then, God bless and take care.